Hey everybody, what's going on? Happy Saturday. Back to be back at it at the Raw Talk. So super excited to be here.
Okay, and X, I see you over there in your fresh new outfit, breaking it down. Tell everybody what's up.
And blessings, everybody. Hope y'all enjoying y'all weekend.
I know, it's the weekend, the freaking weekend. Yes, and we about to talk about it. So make sure y'all get your cups. I don't know what you got in your cups, but we got to come up with a logo. I mean, not a logo, but like a catchphrase. Like, get your mugs, get your cups, put something in it, and we about to get to it.
Get that raw juice.
Okay,
Get that
something.
raw
We,
juice.
we gotta come up with something because listen, we got some stuff to talk about, and you guys know we do this every Saturday, talking about all the trending topics throughout the week. We do have a channel on Discord where we all share those topics, and I like going in there just to read the juiciness sometimes. Like when today, when you're dropping a few chiles, like I said, clicking on the links, going and reading it, like dang, they've been doing this. So I'm excited to dive into it. What is on our itinerary for today?
Okay, so we have woman suffers shot to the head, owes 2K in medical bills. So we're gonna dive into that. It's gonna be kind of like a recap of what we've been discussing thus far since we started Raw Talk. Also, we have what's new with crypto. We've been seeing like a lot of crypto, Bitcoin, bullish, all that good stuff. So kind of talking about that a little bit with Twitter Space. And then you have 42 Doug faces sentenced to 5+ years in prison. And then will TikTok be a pastime? And Miss Bieber and Miss Gomez set the record straight.
Cat. But yes, get into it. So what's this first one that we are diving into?
That's a post you did for talking about Takeoff
Oh.
and how this young lady was like injured um, with that whole process and how she like owes money.
Oh yes, here we go. So I'm sharing that now for everybody who's watching. So it says, and this came from Twitter, woman shot in the head during Takeoff's murder says she owes 200,000 in medical bills. So, and that's what it's saying. Okay. Now to me, when I see this, okay, here's the full story. Let me read the full story for y'all. Sydney Lede, a woman who claims she too was injured by the bullets flying the day of Takeoff, was killed, has been on the long road to recovery, one that she says has racked up medical bills in the six figures. The 24-year-old spoke to the Shade Room on her lingering traumas and revealed she owes over 200,000 to the hospital where she stayed for a week after slipping into a coma. Sydney was left with a bald spot where she was shot in the head and now attends therapy sessions to treat her PTSD, admitting loud events like New Year's Eve are triggers, and called the November 1st shooting senseless, and says that other witnesses are still traumatized all the same. Now, Houston police arrested a man named Patrick Clark, who they believe is responsible for shooting Takeoff, but they have still not named a suspect for the bullet that struck Sydney. Nonetheless, her family set up a GoFundMe to help foot the growing debt for the shooting injuries. Now, that's what I was thinking right there. Like, oh my gosh! One of the comments says, "Surviving a gunshot and having to pay 200,000 is crazy to me." They said, "Isn't that normal for Americans?" Oh man.
What? No.
I don't know if they trying to say because Americans always shooting people or because we got bad medical systems, but nonetheless, my first raw thought when I seen that is, oh, she trying to send out the sign to the people like, hey, y'all, somebody better drop something in this GoFundMe because she out of that coma and she gonna stop having amnesia real soon too. She can't her stuff back together.
Oh Lord, she go, she gonna go right back in. They gonna be like, whoa, so they not gonna play that. They're not gonna play that.
She over here like, hey, look, I got
like,
medical
look,
bills, trauma.
You better take that debt.
Somebody better start cutting
turn
the
up
check.
on that GoFundMe.
Once they say the money ties or mob ties better start cutting some checks her way before she start remembering all kinds of stuff.
That's crazy. I didn't even think about all that. That's nuts.
That was my first thought when I seen that. Like, dang, she letting them people know, like, look, she need hundreds of thousands of dollars and still got more trauma from there. So y'all better get a monthly stipend or something going.
The little installment.
Oh, something.
But even with that, it's just like now, you're still in danger. And it's just like you now putting it out on the internet, making yourself a target. Because it's just like now this young lady has come up out of the woodworks. You gotta understand, like, what else are you inviting into your doorstep? That could have been something like, you got your lawyer, but you have to, pay for ad space on the shade room. So it's just like you went out and put that out there, but now you're out there and now you're connected to this, and now you're forever connected to this, and then you're asking for something but not asking for something. It's kind of just like, what was the purpose of that? And that's why a lot of actions that you take, you gotta ask, like, what was the purpose of that? What were you trying to gain? And it's like, now you put yourself out there. Now you got a target on your back. And, like, what does that look like for you, your family, and who you're connected with? So,
that's a good point. I like how you said that. You got a target on your back, whether it's good, whether it's bad. Like I said, she trying to put it out there that she trying to get some money. But if, she done survived this bullet, you already know she a witness, that's going to have to go and testify about something. So, like you said, definitely just puts a whole target. Because nobody was talking about her before, at least not from what I was looking at. And it wasn't like she, had this big press right after the shooting. So, like you said, to kind of bring it back up is definitely something to think about. X, did you have any?
Oh, like, you could go ahead and... I'm sorry.
Oh, no,
one last point. I was like, for that $200K for those medical bills, I would have been like, go ahead and throw that on the credit because I'm gonna just have that cleaned off. And then, like, if and then what you can do is you can I can't think of it. It just slipped my mind. You can file bankruptcy. I mean, shit, it's gonna be 7 years, but how you gonna pay $200K? You gonna do monthly payments?
She want mob ties to pay it, sis. That's what she letting them know. She got 200,000. Okay, so she want mob ties to go ahead, but drop that bag on her.
When is mob ties gonna drop that? And if they gonna drop it,
right? Because we said this is a whole RICO investigation. I don't think, like you said, I don't think people think they stuff through all the way before they start doing stuff sometimes. But she gotta let me see if I can even see, because I think they had a GoFundMe. Let me see if I had seen the link for the GoFundMe and see where that's.
They just make their problems like bigger problems. It's just like, know when to cut your losses. Know when enough is enough.
That's a good point right there. And X, was there anything that you wanted to add as well?
Not so much. This topic seems like it's going to be something that we probably get to revisit in a couple months or so as more unfolds from that night where Takeoff lost his life. So
Oh, you
we
know we
gonna
will. We definitely will because like we just said, right? The guy also got arrested, but her shooter didn't get arrested, and we definitely will be watching as that continue to unfold and is back in the trending topics for this week. So if you drop your thoughts in the comments below, what do y'all think she was doing that for? Why do y'all think she paid Shade Room? Because I didn't even think about that, child, that you even have to like pay Shade Room at that point for advertising. And so,
Mm-hmm.
when I think about that, like I said, I know she got the GoFundMe link. I'm sure it was included, and she maybe made a couple dollars back, type of thing, or something. So very interesting. I'm gonna try to go find that and see if I can see how much she actually made so far. That'd be one of those things I'm like always interested in, where it's like, oh, you got your GoFundMe, how much money you done made on there? And people make pretty good money. So
Right.
interesting stuff. Well, what is our new topic on today's itinerary? And welcome also Zephyr. We're having our show right now, Raw Talk, where we talk about trending topics. So feel free to add your thoughts in the comments here in the chat as well. But Chai, what is new on our itinerary for today or next?
Okay, so
Hi,
we
how are
have
you?
what's. Hi, how are you?
Nice place.
Thank you, thank you. So glad to have you here at the Raw Talk. So, we have topics in the itinerary that we're going to talk about today. So, if you like, you can have a seat and you can weigh in on the conversation, or you can definitely put it in the text below to your right hand corner. Um,
First,
but
I
the
give 1 heart.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, buddy.
Okay,
And
I'm listening.
Okay, awesome. So,
Yes.
what's new with crypto? So, I've been seeing like a lot of like hype and stuff around like crypto and the banks and like the economy and stuff like that. And wanted to see like what's y'all take on like what's going on, or this is the same thing that we seen before, right when like COVID happened, where you see like a shift in what's going on. So I just kind of put that down because I've been seeing like a lot of like movement and talk. So wanted to see what y'all thought about it.
nice. And I do see the tweet that you dropped there where Crypto Rover said that the monthly MACD was about to cross bullish. So before we dive into this topic, I'm going to pass the mic to Crypto Damas because, yes, that is also one of his aliases around here. If you don't know X, who is, X for a reason. But because, again, sometimes he's Crypto Damas. So, Crypto Damas, what would you say is going on with this crypto market right now?
I'd say we're reaching the end of the bear market. It happens like crypto runs in 4 year cycles, so we're now in between, or we're in the middle of the third year. Or approaching really with the end of the third year and running into like the fourth year, which would start in May, which will then leave us a year away from having. You get what I'm saying? So it's just a cycle. Like people gonna get bullets right now. A lot of people gonna make some like the thing about Bitcoin is its biggest challenge is every bull run or the whole like narrative or storyline is it makes an all time high, it loses the all time high, and then like in the process of that businesses collapse. Just simple math. Just because if you were doing it like from a regular person perspective, you would, or just a non-trader perspective, you would see it as like, man, you say you bought a BMW or something, and it was like you paid top dollar for it. You get what I'm saying? But it's like the minute you get off the lot, it starts to devalue and it goes through the pricing, like the cycle of depreciation. But with the BMW, if you to wait like 25 plus years and you keep it in great condition, now it does a reversal, right? The BMW now starts to appreciate. Like it depreciates so much to where then it becomes scarce and it becomes limited. Then it returns and starts appreciating again. So like with Bitcoin, when you hear the halving term and you hear these cycles, is essentially that same concept. It's just not 25-year process, more like a 4-year process where it's like, oh, Bitcoin's going to or right now is beginning to appreciate, but a lot of people won't feel like they're in the green unless they've been buying bottoms. Like if you've been buying tops, which was like Bitcoin at 50K, 40K, 60K, etc. Now you may seem like you might be discouraged or whatever the case may be, or Bitcoin could run from where it is right now, 20 something thousand, 27K, all the way to 45K, and it might not interest you till 46 for real because you've been bought in at like 46, 47, 48, 49. So it's like just understanding that these mood swings happen. But if you bought at 60 or 50 or something, you definitely should be buying now because with Bitcoin, you don't really want, and like, let me just summarize this even more or to simplify it even more. It's like you buy Bitcoin not caring about what the price is. Like I heard you mention the bank runs, or you were implicating a bit or implying or referencing the bank runs, and it was like the bank runs. The reason why people are having bank runs right now is because interest rates by the feds are being hiked. That is correct, but also because there's just bad loans that were created in the last market cycle where it was like there was no interest rates and there was money being printed through inflation. So it was like you go from lending and borrowing as much as you can to, oh, the Federal Reserve has now hiked rates. Oh, people are not spending no more. The economy's tight. There's a war going on. There's this going on. There's that going on. So it's like money got held up, and most likely when money gets held up, it get held up in cash. So the bank runs is the play on all that, where it's just like, man, people are realizing cash isn't the safest asset out here. People are starting to see now Bitcoin is the safest asset. Possibly, I'm not going to say it's the safest, but it's possibly a safer asset than cash because Bitcoin at the end of the day can work really without the internet. A lot of people don't know that, but Bitcoin can't even work without the internet. Like it does work with mining and block and all that, but it's like you can keep a ledger that doesn't have to necessarily deal with the internet. And that's like the old school. So as we see exchanges start to fold here in America and all that, like and all this regulation come in, it's starting to be interesting to see like will this next bull run, will people be prepared to have their own exchanges, which is like a DEX, a decentralized exchange, to where they can have a P2P, a peer-to-peer exchange, or will people only buy crypto through their bank or buy crypto through like like something they super trust? The last bull run it blew up because I remember when people were like, oh, you could buy Bitcoin on Cash App or you could buy Bitcoin on Robinhood, etc. So it's like, but now we seen when they let in all those new buyers that didn't understand the system that just thought it was the lottery, it kind of crashed the market too. You get what I'm saying? So it's like it's just a lot going on right now. I don't want to be too long-winded, but it's just a lot going on. I would be buying though, like not financial advice. I would be buying right now though. But the whole kill about the buying right now is the end of the next bull run is gonna end in a way where you're not gonna be able to just offload money as you please. Like the reason why we see all this headache stuff going on in the markets because the financial system as a whole is changing. They just kind of try to keep you like focused on like only stocks or only the bank or only crypto, but it's like no, all of this is changing in front of us, and it's like the faster you understand that, the faster you become acceptance to change. So I'll just say that.
Yeah, and I think one of the a really great point that you made there was the cycles, because I think a lot of people, got into crypto, I want to say within like, at the end of the last cycle. So, you missed how it even begins. And so it's very interesting to see that shift. And I think like even how you ended it on like a full circle note, like, so if this is where the cycle is beginning, again, like you said, that's where you'll see the most profits when it starts to go back up again. But also understanding that when we are back up again, it's going to be a different cycle even this time around. So you guys know we are always being studious. X is usually talking about this at the Men Talk, which we do on Tuesdays. So be on the lookout for that. Him and AK are usually in there talking about similar to trending news, but they're usually more so on the crypto part of it, and then just trying to let their younger selves and others know what they would tell them their younger selves, like what they should be doing at this time as well. So really great content, and those are like, I think you hit on everything in that crypto sphere. And so Chai, was there anything else that you wanted to add or any other questions that you had?
No, that was pretty much what I've been seeing is what X was like talking about, and just like having that breakdown for people that are interested in looking at this live, trying to figure out what they want to do within that space. They can now start making those moves to do so. And I remember when I first when I first got in, that was like an end of a run, and it was kind of like you kind of missed the boat with that one. But it's like nice to now see it again and how it's happening again and how I can definitely get in because I've seen it go all the way to 60. So that's pretty interesting how it is going to unfold and where people are going to be at. So.
Yep. So,
right, but right now is really like you're not to carry it on, but this is your safer time to invest in crypto, like you were saying. At the end of cycles, it's super volatile, super dangerous. But right now, it's like, for instance, if you were buying crypto for the last 10 months or so, Bitcoin's been at this price and under. You get what I'm saying? And under got to like, I think got all the way down to like around 15ish, around 15K or so. So it's like at 15,000, Bitcoin today is like 2,000-3,000 away from 30. So in 6 to 8 months, you already would be double whatever your initial investment was in the Bitcoin. You get what I'm saying? Like a lot of coins have already shown that they're bottoming out or bottomed out, and then it's like it's just a safer game. Like you try to buy Bitcoin at 50K, it's still a safer game, I would say, because that's still 19,000 lower than all-time high. And for a fact, we know every bull run cycle is going to smash all-time high. So then you just got to figure out where you can position yourself for maximum returns and then be able to pull. Because a lot of people will try to pull quick buys, which is buys they bought within the last 12 months. And it's like, if you don't know math or have an accountant or something like that, it can get tricky because Uncle Sam's going to need his. Democrats, everybody, they raising taxes every time they get a chance. So it's a good time to like be learning right now. So when you get into the bull run, it's just execution more so than trying to learn and execute.
Yeah, and on that note, one thing I will say, because I know when people hear crypto, one of the first cryptos that they think about is Bitcoin. And I think, X, like you said, you made a good point when you said, hey, it's at 30,000. So for you to even double your money, you got to hit 60,000. So one of those things that I really love about crypto, and to add to this conversation, is being able to apply those principles to other cryptocurrencies that have utility, right? Because like we said, none of this is financial advice. You definitely got to do your own research. But there was one crypto that we just bought some more of, actually, and it was like, it just was maybe like $300, and right now it's $100. Or not 100, sorry, it's like a couple dollars. And so like we just said, if you know what it can do and do this all-time high, or even half of that, kind of, like, oh, this is a good bottom and I know its potential. And then again, you can start using these principles to start making better decisions. And it always comes down to that, just doing your own research and knowing that, hey, sometimes things just don't work out like you think. That's why they still call it gambling, because sometimes it do be a gamble. This is still new though, so very interesting stuff. Like I said, catch Men Talk on Tuesdays with X and AK, where they dive into that stuff some more. And they do have a lot of replays right now that you can go catch on YouTube or on yeah, I guess they're all on YouTube right now and on Twitter. Most of them are on Twitter, because a lot of the stuff that they mentioned have actually been coming into fruition with these upcoming weeks and past weeks. So really interesting.
Yeah. Definitely, like that's pretty much the most accurate thing you could say about our show. Now you're plugging that, but it's like Men Talk definitely at least 40 days ahead of anything going on. And that's because, like she said, we had that show as a focus to like give advice to younger versions of ourselves. So we're not going to tell ourselves about something after. So we typically speak ahead, like all the bank runs, all these things. We was talking about that like January, December. So it's like if you look at our catalog, January, December, maybe first week of February, you'll probably get caught up to everything that's about to happen from then to like I'd say June.
Yeah. And y'all know we do this every week, and we got more shows coming down the pipeline. So what you can do is start staying tuned. Come every week so you can follow the conversation. Go home, do your own research so you can come back and comment, learn, grow, ask questions, because that's what we're all about here in the Raw DAO and in the P2d RAW Network. I see Harlem Concierge just joined. Welcome, welcome. And China, we got a few more topics on the itinerary. So what is next on the itinerary for today?
All right, so next we have some news in the music industry. So we have 42 Doug faces an extra 5 years in prison. So let me pull that up, because I haven't heard any music from him in a minute.
Let me see. So for everyone watching the stream, I've got this pulled up here where it shows 42 Doug faces 5 more years in prison after entering a guilty plea in gun case. So it says Detroit, Michigan rapper 42 Doug is facing an additional 5 years in prison after entering a new guilty plea in his 2020 gun case. Back in March 2020, Doug, whose real name is Dion Marquise Hayes, 28, was arrested for being a felon in possession with a firearm. Federal agents received a tip that he was firing a gun at an Atlanta gun range. Prior to Doug was convicted on carjacking charges and not. Dang. See, that's why you playing? If you know you a convicted felon and not supposed to be around no guns, why you even going to gun ranges and already knowing as a rapper, as a black man, you already got that target on your back and they looking. And so why, if you know you a convicted felon and not supposed to be around guns, is you gonna be around guns where people gonna call and be telling like, oh, I just seen this dude at the gun range and man.
It was probably his friend that probably told him.
You already know that's how it be. You already know it's got to be somebody that was close enough to see it and call and know, and that's why they even sold the information probably to Hollywood Unlocked that we was just reading it from, and it'd be a whole cycle right there. And now he locked up for another 5 years, and like you said, it's not like he was hearing new music and it was already going through that. And there's this one philosophy where they say hip-hop will be extinct, and it's funny that Harlem Film House is here because I know you guys are very much into the hip-hop culture, but I've heard a theory that says hip-hop would be extinct in the next few years because all the rappers will end up being like locked up in a sense, and like on top of that, real rap is kind of being taken out, and these like actors in a sense are coming in and taking that place and kind of mixing all this up in a sense. And so when I see stuff like this, I just be like, why give people a reason to have a reason? It's just tragic when you do. X or Chai, did you guys have anything else you wanted to add about that? X, I know sometimes you're into the, yeah.
42, I believe. It wasn't somebody told on him. It was he went on Instagram Live or something of that sort, like one of those go live type apps, and he had the firearms on him. And then they went back to the gun range and seen that, you know what I'm saying, that he was there. So that's how he got violated. But what's going on with him is bigger than him. It kind of goes to what you said in a sense, where it's like rap right now is being targeted. I wouldn't say hip hop is now like evolved to where there's variations in hip hop. So I would say like gangster rap is definitely a focus of law enforcement. You know, not just people that are consuming on TikTok and all these other apps, but law enforcement is crying out because a lot of these dudes is committing crimes and telling. Like at this point, you would look at law enforcement different if they weren't doing anything. These guys really is committing a crime, having a weapon, like everything is just like it's really stupid to be honest. But nonetheless, that's what's going on, and I do see it becoming extinct because there was, I think, man, you might have heard that debate where people were talking like, well, if you're gonna start charging Ricos all crazy in the hip hop space, which 42 Doug is a member to hip hop gang organizations or whatever, cocaine or CMG and 4PF, which are two known street organizations that got a lot of federal attention going on right now. So it's like with Doug, you see him being the one going to prison first in those two entities, or one of the first waves, especially when it comes to stars. Like you don't hear too much about Yo Gotti and the rest of them, but it's like they trying to give Doug, I mean, what's his name, Doug, that extra 5 years because they want him to turn or a state witness or a government witness or cooperate and help take down these other fits. So it's like he's in an unfortunate situation where it's like you just gotta sit there, you know what they say, you make the bed, you gotta lay in it. So we just going through that, and you know, hopefully he'll come out a better person, not on the same angle, but you never know. So you gotta play out. Mm-hmm. But definitely gangster rap, definitely going through Rico. That's why you seeing like ratting is a joke now. Like I remember ratting and snitching and stuff was a serious offense. Like it was serious. They was talking about it. There was stop snitching campaigns. There was all type of stuff. Now it's just like clickbait and views and algorithm play. Like, oh look, you saying so and so. I got to take to him telling it, her telling it. They all telling it. It's just a different day now.
Mm-hmm. Literally every other day, that's somebody telling and. But on that note, also, I know this isn't on the itinerary, but you guys seen that 6ix9ine actually just got, beat up in the gym or something. So, I don't, some people still trying to uphold it, but I don't know, because that man do anything for clout. So I can't 1,000% call it. But if it's
why is his baby mama coming out and be like, I'm embarrassed, like. I'm embarrassed for my daughter. And it's just like, you had a baby by this man, you wasn't embarrassed then?
Right. Cause, just like X was saying, there is still this underlying OG culture where it's like, the real still hold those same principles that been holding for years. And it's like, nah, that's not cool. No matter what the internet tell you, no matter what other people tell you, like, that's lame. Like, you still out here messing with whole families and so I think one of the best things X said though was, you make your bed, you lay in it. Because hey, I can't say that if you out here also taking lives and ruining families too. So at that point, you gotta think about it. You could be sitting in prison. You got plenty of time to think about it. And so but I wanted to add that note about the entire industry being under attack, because this ain't the first one. And like X said, them trying to add an extra 5 years onto this for a violation, we know it's to add that pressure. We see Young Thug has that whole RICO case right now, And his sister actually just died also today on another off itinerary but hot topic this week. Young Thug's sister just passed away today, or maybe not today, but within the past few days. And so that was again one of those things where it's like people start realizing like, oh, it was fun to be out in the streets doing this. It was fun to be in the studio rapping about it. But now I got to sit in this prison for a few years, and my loved ones is living life or life is passing them by, and you got to start making decisions. And that's where we see this, snitch culture start to become more prevalent.
I'm glad you mentioned Thug because he signed the OG Kevin Lyles like from Maryland, B&B. And Kevin Lyles is an esteemed old head. Like he was running with Russell Simmons back in the day, real street dude that groomed himself up well. And it's like he went and testified on the behalf of Young Thug, like, oh nah, YSL Young Stoner Life is just a record label, it's not Young Slime Life, it's not this, that, and the third. And Thug's co-defendants turned around and told the beans, but they was already telling the beans. But it just opened a Pandora's box in a sense, because people like, and mind you, 300 Entertainment ended up getting sold in the process of this court case. But it's like, you understand that Kevin Lyles and them could also be held culpable or liable in a sense, because it's like they get these cats 100,000, a million, 2 million. They know these cats is about to go buy however many guns, however many birds, however many bricks, however many pounds, whatever the case. Like they know how the whole process is, and it's like at some point, it's like Young Thug was beefing with whoever he was beefing with before, but what is truly the music that empowered him to actually become some real life gang or some active, or thinking he could be a crime boss. Like the music part of it is the biggest aspect of his whole gangster career. If you know Young Thug back when he was like 10, 17, Thug, like teeth all messed up, dreads missing, like all of that type stuff. It was like Shawty probably needed $100. You get what I'm saying? So it's like it's just a different time period now where it's like they got a lot. Like I don't know. I don't think the buck should stop at the artist. That's all I'm saying. Like if they coming at the industry, then go all the way up the check ladder. Don't just stop at the artist, because the person that gave him a check, he knew who he was when he gave him that check and understood he probably was going to be on. He came to the record label with a bunch of gangsters. He didn't go to the record label with suits and ties. Shoot videos with gangsters. So he can't. His name Young Thug. He can't be mad.
That's raw. You dropping bombs right there.
That's raw.
It's gotta go all the way up, because like you said, these people signing these checks know why they went after Young Thug. We've seen it, like you said, seeing the locks, knew he only had to give him, like you said, nothing but $100 to do whatever. And then it's like from there all you gotta do is keep giving them the mouse cheese at that point, and keep them happy. So that's a really good point right there. So we'll definitely be watching how this continues to play out, because like we said, we can see that this is a pattern. This is definitely not the end of this here. It seems more like the beginning of a lot more that will continue to unfold. So we got all our eyeballs on them. And speaking of Young Thug, actually, I think didn't you post in the Discord about something else about Young Thug too, and somebody, or maybe I was just reading it, but YFN Lucci is not going to be snitching on Young Thug, just to end on that bit there, because I did see that in the trending news as well. And I will say, I be trying to stay on my trending topics for y'all, so I hope y'all appreciates it, because I be in there trying to see what's up. And because there be a lot going on in this world, man. But yeah, I did also see YFN Lucci was served a subpoena to appear in court, and he refused to sign and said he ain't snitching. So like we said, there's some that ain't snitching for nothing, and there's some that is. So we gonna keep watching it play out. Chai, what is next on our itinerary for today?
Alright, awesome. So what we have next is, will TikTok be a pastime So we have like a lot of news coming out about TikTok now being banned in the U.S. and like what's been going on with that, and I wonder how like what's gonna happen like if it does, and then what will happen if it doesn't, and like what theories you guys think should like take place for TikTok.
Okay, so I've got it pulled up for our viewers. It says TikTok is in serious danger of being banned in the United States. Now it says that there is a bipartisan push amongst lawmakers to ban TikTok in the U.S. And TikTok CEO Shu Zi Chu flew to Washington, D.C. to provide assurance to their concerns. The only problem is that Congress weren't convinced. Mark VC from D Texas called Chu's assurance worthless. TikTok, who paid for influencers to attend the pro TikTok rally in DC, is a serious danger of being banned by in the United States. I'm happy that they said it was worthless, because that's all I was thinking. Like, they gonna come up there and tell you anything to not get it banned. But we've all seen the TikTok that say TikTok in China got their own TikTok, and they just give everybody all the foolishness here in the States. And we've seen it all, that it runs through your phone. And I think at this point, with Russia and China kind of joining forces in that sense, I think this is like, we have seen a different kind of war that is different than we've seen in the past, which is this idea of cyber war. And I think when it comes to things like banning TikTok, and like I said, one version in China and one version in the US, and Russia paying for influencers here, or like they just said, China paying for influencers to march in DC. We're seeing a lot of that already, where it's like, pay an influencer to say this, and then that pushes part of the masses to go in this way, or pushes another little part of the masses to get on board, or pushes them to think like this, to try to influence the next person. And so I would be for TikTok being banned, honestly. I was on TikTok when it first came around, because I'd seen it and I thought it was going to be so cool. I remember calling my little brother and little sister like, oh, we can all make videos and then it'll be awesome. And that was before literally everybody was on TikTok, and then everybody started doing TikToks, and then I was like, see, I told y'all. But then we found out, like, hey, if you are on TikTok, though, TikTok can go through your entire phone. And that's when I was like, oh, I don't want TikTok on my phone anymore at this point. Because why do you need to go through my phone? And what are you doing with that info? And what's really going on here? I'm one of those people. What's really going on here? And that's not... as much as I enjoyed watching those videos on TikTok, I did not enjoy what I had to give up in order to get that. And now we've seen a lot of other platforms like Instagram, Twitter, even YouTube, have their own sense on, trying to say, hey, people like these short versions, just make reels, just make shorts, just make, even one of the platforms I'm on now, Kick, is basically just like that, where people upload little short videos and things of that nature. So I think just like TikTok came, before TikTok we had Vine, everybody loved Vine, do it for the Vine. And that was only but 6 seconds, and that was a hit, but it had its time too. So I think it definitely will have its past time, in my opinion. What you think, Chai?
I think that TikTok will definitely be a pastime, like everything else, like AIM. You remember AIM? Everybody used to aim each other. I never had like a MySpace. I've always wanted to MySpace.
Me
but,
too. Your mom didn't let you have a MySpace?
No, she banned it, and I was just like, I'm not going to create one.
Me too, girl.
I had an AIM though. You can hit me up on AIM. I had a name and everything. Spelled my AIM name wrong. Like it was hilarious. But yeah, the TikTok, going through your phone. I'm not gonna lie, I do like TikTok. I think TikTok is way more entertaining than Instagram. Just because like TikTok is like endless entertainment, and it's like an assortment of like different people, not just like the people you're following, but just like you can see like whoever you want to see. And I did hear like, okay, the CEO even came out and said like, yeah, we created TikTok for like idiots. And I was just like, oh shit, like he's rolling out the
You over here like, who you talking
he's
to like
rolling
that?
he's rolling it out. Um and then yeah, I was like, damn, he's coming with the heat. But it's just like it's only for idiots if you don't know how to use it. Like people that actually got on TikTok and like link that to their Instagram and like move their followers over to Instagram knew what they were doing in regards to creating content and like creating content fast and engaging to where now it's like you have a brand, you have a platform. Now you can use that platform to like gain connections with other people and have ad space, like whatever you want to do with it. But yeah, the phone monitoring, I didn't know that, so TikTok, that's out.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And Chai ran raw down TikTok, so she out, we out. So yeah, that's definitely one of those that's interesting. We'll continue to watch how that plays out, and yeah, I'm all for the expansion of knowledge. I think some people hear it and don't care. Like, oh, if it goes through my phone, so what? If it is was made for idiots, so what? I enjoy it, and I think to each their own. Everyone has their own enjoyments in life. Like I said, I enjoy the videos as well. I used to love the sounds. I remember those like clips that would be like all these sounds that are stuck in my head, and it was like from watching TikTok all day. But I will say you do end up getting wrapped in it, right? You end up spending like an hour on it when you meant to just go on it real quick. Or even like I would go on to post something, but I would spend more time watching others than posting and kind of moving around. So I think it definitely has its pros and cons, but it also teaches us, even like with the metaverse, I feel like being on these social networks like this that were very like global, it kind of shows also how like small the world was in a sense, because like you said, you start seeing the same people and the same community members, and you just start to get to know like this global community. So I thought that was one of the benefits that came from it on that part, because I think before that our social medias were very like, first of all, where you're at, like your city, all your friends, your school, and then as they have continued to evolve, like right now, I feel like on my Instagram, I see so many people from Africa, like literally right out their house in Africa right now making their TikToks, and I'm like, I've never, not TikToks, but making their Instagram reels, and I've never seen that all on my timeline, but I see it now. So when I see stuff like that again, I think other platforms just use that to kind of, say, well, let's get ahead of it. Interesting. X, did you have anything else that you wanted to add? Or Chai? Sorry about that.
Well, I just say, hypocrisy at its finest. America does what America does best. Like, Facebook does all the things, or has done all the things that they're saying, accusing TikTok of doing. Facebook has been doing that for decades now. It's like that. Like you don't see. I mean, I guess around the world is fair because there are a few places, very few places that do ban Facebook here and there, and then there's multiple variations of Facebook. Like there's a Russian Facebook, there's a Chinese or Asian Facebook. Like there's different variations. So I think it's just the operating cost per se. Like if you were one of the people that was financially bankrolling that, you see it as good problems. Like you got so big that the government went in. Like that's a great time. That's a great space to be in. That's a great place to be in because now you got leverage. You can stay independent and fight the fight as you see fit, or you actually become a commodity to these PEs, to these private equity firms. Like BlackRock and things like that, like these entities that just allegedly own everything. You become interested, and usually when things like that occur in that type of facet, it's usually because there probably is a bidding war of some sorts going on. Where it's like it's just all business. It's like negotiating tactics per se, where it's like, oh, you see all these things in the media playing out because there's negotiation going on, whether it's to sell, whether it's to not sell, whether it's to join another entity or merge. And it's usually that's like when you mentioned mine went out of business, I believe, because what, like Snap, like somebody bought them. They didn't really go out of business, they got bought out, and that's just the name of the game. And then when you mention YouTube, another point on that is YouTube actually just dropped their quarter figures, and they've been taking a hit the last semester in terms of YouTube Reels because creators, one, don't make what they're supposed to make off of the YouTube Reels, like the algorithm numbers like was all over the place, and then two, it'd be like it's the algorithm more so like people realizing like it's just a waste of time. Like YouTubers are actually now turning into streamers. Like if you probably pay attention to your favorite YouTube channels, they might do less dropping videos and more like, oh, stream for 2 hours type of thing. Because I think that's where the internet's evolving to, where it's like people are absorbing content in live time. They don't want to watch a pre-recorded show, etc. They want to talk live and switch the narrative live, etc. So those are just things that I like to point out.
Mm-hmm. And that's it. So, and I like how you said that hypocrisy, right? Facebook and them been doing it. So, we gonna see what's really going on here. That's been the underlying question on every single one of our topics today. What the heck is really going on here? What are these people really thinking? What are people really doing? And that's why we even have this raw talk, because you can't just read the headlines and take it for face value. No, you got to go do some research. We have to talk about it. We all have to share our ideas and our perspectives, and then from there we can take that information. And my mom had this thing where it was like, it's like a chicken bone. You take what you have and leave or take what you need and leave the rest, kind of thing, right? Whereas we decipher it, talk about it. It was funny. Chai's seen, what's his name? One of these comedians. He had posted his bath water, and was like, if your bath water don't look like this after you get out the bath, then don't talk to me. And I'm like, first of all, his bath water was brown. Seeing everybody in the comments is going on. I'm like, boy, when's the last time you took a shower? But first thing I thought of is when the last comedian was like, oh yeah, I don't use soap. And it's like we talked about it. Again, you get
oh yeah, B Simone was talking about that,
right? Because again, you get more clout with the negative, right? Like, yeah, you can do all the good in the world, but it's that negative that catches on, and it's the negative comments that make stuff go viral. So I think, once people kind of master that balance, that's where we start to see different things like this and can start to look at, like I said, headlines, stories, and all this different stuff for the bigger picture, the bigger play at hand. So if you guys enjoy those kind of conversations, come back every Saturday, because we'll be here doing this thing every time. And I know we've got one more topic on the itinerary. Chai, what is the last thing we have to talk about today?
Okay, so we'll end on a positive.
Kinda.
So we have Miss Bieber and Miss Gomez set the record straight. So, I was looking at this comment that popped up because it was another post that just going back to our last conversation last week where I think Selena, she finally hit 400 million followers and now has like surpassed that. So it was like a post where Selena made a comment, or a Haley Bieber, she made like a post where she talked about that she's getting like death threats, and they wanted to sit down and be like, look, we're not beefing, bro, like it's y'all. So it's just it's kind of interesting to see where a lot of things be like the narratives be like twisted once like the public like receives it, and whole time private it could be something completely different.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I definitely agree. So I have got this pulled up for everybody watching or looking. So I'll read this aloud for everybody that can't see it. So these are two different Instagram posts where both of them just took a black screen and then put words on top of it. First one comes from Hailey Bieber, where she says, I want to thank Selena for speaking out, as her and I have been discussing for the last few weeks how to move forward with this ongoing narrative between her and I. The last few weeks have been very hard for everyone, including the millions of people who are seeing so much hate around this, which is extremely hurtful. While social media is an incredible way to connect and build community, moments like this will only create extreme division instead of bringing people together. Things can always be taken out of context or construed differently than they were intended. We all need to be more thoughtful about what we post and what we say, including myself. In the end, I believe love will always be bigger than hate and negativity, and there is always an opportunity to meet others with more empathy and compassion. And so what Selena said was, Hailey Bieber reached out to me and let me know that she has been receiving death threats and such hateful negativity. This isn't what I stand for. No one should have to experience hate or bullying. I've always advocated for kindness and really want all of this to stop. So, let me give y'all some tea, cause you know I be in these scrapes, in these comments, in these Twitter comments, and these Instagram comments, trying to see what people be over here really talking about. And first of all, I think the way Selena said it was not like she was just saying, you know, nobody should have to go through that. But I think the way she put it through that is because just like even what this comment says, what the caption says, how it says, Hailey thanks Selena for speaking out in support of her after the model is being threatened by social media who accuse her of being a mean girl or a bully. And I definitely have gotten that vibe from her within this last week or so. And it was like really weird because we've literally been building up to this. Remember, it started with Kylie. Remember, and I was like, oh, this is like some weird like Kylie versus Selena thing. Then it became Hailey versus Selena. And then and only reason why I really say like, oh, mean girl, like when you say, okay, what kind of bullying or mean girl stuff could this girl Hailey be doing? Well, you know, she's with Justin and Selena was with Justin. So something I had seen on throughout this week or so was one of these posts that Hailey had posted was like, you know, those TikToks, or not even TikToks, but Reels, where it's like, oh, I'm gonna play a bunch of songs and you stand on one side if you know the song or if you don't know the song. So they were listening to one of those and you know, recording it, and she's doing it with her friend. And they're literally like singing all of the songs, and then one Selena song comes on, and then they both just stop, and they're like, I don't know it. And then the next song comes on, and then they start dancing again. And it's like, first of all, you gotta listen to the song, the audio, so you know all the songs that's about to play, and if you know them songs or if you don't know them songs. And it's just like, you know, it's like one of those taking jabs. And I think that's where a lot of people are getting frustrated, because it was like, girl, you've been over here with all the sneaky, funny, online hee ha ha stuff, but as soon as somebody or people finally start saying something to you, you know, that's when now, oh, this is so crazy and so bad and blah blah blah, and you know,
audacity, some may say.
Right, audacity, the audacity to be over here crying about it.
Audacity. It's the Call Cassidy.
Oh, what is that? I ain't heard of Call Cassidy.
You know, that's when Caucasians have the audacity.
I knew exactly what he said, like what he meant when he said. I was like, oh, he said he's hitting me out with the raw talk for real.
Oh my god, that's a good one right there, man.
In this day and age, you can't bully. And what they're probably doing is what she's trying to do is probably control the narrative, because like if she gets labeled as a bully, that starts cutting you out of a lot of things. That means cutting you out of like shows, cutting you out of like money, business, connections, like just because like you're in Hollywood or whatever, like doesn't give you the right to like mistreat people or be a bully because everybody else is doing it, I gotta do it too. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just like she's trying to like get ahead of this so that way her name doesn't get like tarnished, where it's just like I can go back to being Justin Bieber's wife, or whatever label that she's like put on herself. But it's just like now I run to the aid of Gomez, because it's like, okay, she knows Bieber, she has like a lot of like say and pull now because she has 400 million people looking at her. So like her words do hold some weight. So um in this aspect, it's just like, girl, just sit down, be quiet, and do what you do. Like, stay in your lane, but yeah, stop being rude, because people not playing that shit.
Right, and that's where it comes down to that whole caucasity. Like, don't start throwing rocks and then be mad when somebody throw a rock back at your dumb ass. Like, that'd be something that really blows me about these people out here in the world. Like, like don't dish out what you
But it's
can't
really
take.
telling you,
Yeah,
like, the internet is the real big bully. Like,
yeah, it is. It
I'm the
is.
bully.
Right,
Like, and y'all
because
be
it's all about
trying to
narrative,
fake.
right? Like if everybody in the narrative would have been like, well, you know what, Selena, you just being too sensitive, then that's what it would have been, right? Like, oh, you're just mad because she's with Justin Bieber, which is what they would love for the narrative to be, but that's just not what the general narrative is. And I know Selena also had like some different health issues, so I've seen some of the comments be like, a lot of people are just empathizing with her because of that, but I think anybody that's ever been bullied just emphasize with her or empathize with her because nobody likes to see a bully. Like nobody likes to see
Mhm.
others ganging up on them, especially someone like of prestige, like a Kylie Jenner or a Hailey Bieber. And I don't even want to say Hailey Bieber is of prestige in a sense, but just again these like of prestige to Instagram like generation people. I don't know, but like you said, have a say. They have these followers, and like we said, I don't even know if they got 400 million people on Instagram, so I don't know how accurate these numbers are at this point. But we gonna keep letting our
Very
good sis
true.
Selena do her thing and be great and keep rocking for those underdogs that's out here counted y'all out. We ain't gonna let it happen. And coming together is how we have that impact, and it does make a difference. Because I know Boogie is in here, and she actually had kind of gone through like a internet metaverse bullying kind of thing. And I know when I seen that happening, I shared it, and it was like, again, us coming together is how we even change that. So when you say, it's the internet that is really, not the bully in that sense, but just has a lot more of the control than either that party, is
Mhm.
so true. And that's again the main thing that we can all take from that, and why we even say, hey, let's come together to talk about all the perspectives. We don't even share what's right or wrong. We just put it out there and say, hey, what does everybody think about it? And then this is a non-judgmental space for us to share through and cipher through ideas and get to some of these different deeper messages. So I think that's what we're gonna keep getting at with this. And the real gonna keep recognizing the real and gonna keep getting up at the top, because that's how it always rock out at the end of the day, no matter what. So was there anything else that you all wanted to talk about? Chai, I think you said you had an honorary topic you wanted to mention as well.
Um, it's
No.
not coming to me.
Awesome. Well, this was a lot of really good stuff here, and we haven't had as many topics, but the convo has been still just as juicy with it. And I like even how we've been able to tie in a few topics. Like I said, I've seen all those things, but I'm like, I don't want to send 100 topics because they literally be 100 topics. But like I said, staying in the know, I'm able to tie them in a little bit here and there. So We're going to keep this stream replaying across our different social media. So make sure you guys stay tuned, like, comment, subscribe wherever you're watching this, because you might be catching the replay at this point. But if you still stay tuned, we appreciate you for being here, and we want you to drop your thoughts in the comments, okay? That lady that's putting out there that she need $200,000 for her medical bills. Why do y'all think she's doing that? You think she's trying to get money from Mob Ties, for her GoFundMe? What's she really doing over there? Okay, what's going on with crypto? 42 Doug is facing 5 years. Is rap under attack? Is TikTok going to be banned? And what's up with this beef with Selena and Mrs. Bieber? Who y'all think gonna win? That's what I want to know. They need to do one of those celebrity knockouts over there. That would be something cool. So yeah, well, this has been a good conversation. Anybody want to add anything else? No.
I agree. This conversation has been great. I do like I am enjoying like the shorter topics, and because like we have more people joining in, which is great. We get to like diversify like the conversation and perspective. So I am enjoying this immensely.
Yes, agreed. Well, this was really cool. We'll definitely be in contact and be back for more. I think this is our last one for this season. Yeah, this is the last one for season 5. Next time you guys see us, it'll be season 6 in the Raw DAO. So we have some exciting things. We took a really, really nice picture last time at the end of our meeting. And you guys know we have our physical to digital Raw talk mugs, and we will actually be doing some really cool stuff with the pictures we took on the new mug that will be coming out for season 6. So stay tuned, because season 6 we dive in head first and deep into our Raw points, collecting your points for sharing your topics, being a part of the conversation, earning your free mug, getting discounts on a physical mug if you like, and so much more. So stay tuned. Peace.